Welcome everyone. This video is a little different from our others in that we're doing a review of a single hotel, the Wuksachi Lodge in Sequoia National Park. Let us know in the comments if you find these types of videos useful. Let me start out by saying that I believe national parks are one of our greatest treasures, and that they deserve to be treated in a special way. Consequently, national park lodges in our national parks should be equally special places so they can be cherished across multiple generations. One benchmark we use is the Ahwahnee Hotel in Yosemite, opened in 1927. It's still an amazing place to stay with its comfortable guest rooms, spectacular common spaces, and opulent dining hall, all located within one of the world's most famous locations, Yosemite Valley, with views of Yosemite Falls and Half Dome. Another great example is the Tovar, opened in 1905 at the south rim of the Grand Canyon. It also features comfortable guest rooms, impressive public spaces, and a special dining room to augment its location right at the rim of the one and only Grand Canyon. It's with these examples in mind we were looking forward to staying at the Wuksachi Lodge in July of 2025. It's one of the newest national park lodges built in 1999, which you would naturally expect it to feel positively futuristic compared to the more venerable resorts. It checks off some of the things we'd expect at a national treasure. It has a spectacular location in the shadow of Mount Silliman. It is surrounded by pristine pine forests, which is inhabited by woodland creatures. We were lucky enough to see many deer during our stay, in addition to the lizards and chipmunks engaged in their endless turf wars. It's just a short drive or shuttle bus ride to the giant forest, truly one of the world's greatest spectacles, an attraction for which the park was established. There's more great news. It has two choices for food: an indoor restaurant that makes outstanding food, and an outdoor pizza deck that makes sandwiches in addition to their namesake food. They have a nice bar where the weary outdoor seekers could enjoy a cold one while watching the game to recover from their daily adventures. Checking in was quick and easy because the reservation system seemed to be very efficient. Unfortunately, there were quite a few things they didn't get quite right. Let's start with the layout of the facility itself. Remember, the whole place is built along a hillside. What would drive them to place the parking lots between the rooms and the lodge building? The only places laid out like that we can think of are airports. It would be interesting to see some of this architect's other works, and if the person approving the design came from the FAA. It's located at over 7,000 feet elevation, or over 2,100 meters, which makes it the highest national park lodge, but that means there's about a quarter less oxygen available than at sea level, so many guests would certainly benefit from a comfortable lodge to stave off the onset of acute mountain sickness, which certainly starts being a factor here and higher. Imagine paying premium rates, over $300 a night, only to discover that your room sits nearly a quarter mile and the equivalent of 7 flights of stairs uphill from your breakfast and dinner. Yes, you have to park the equivalent of 4 flights of stairs below your rooms, haul your luggage up to the buildings only to find no elevators in these 3-story structures. I don't know that if I would have designed a building where the parking was kind of in a different county, especially for people coming up to high altitude. But Desaad and Associates have their ways. When your stomach growls, hike back down past the parking lots to the main lodge where food and drink await. And that's the Wuksachi Lodge right there. And the rooms are over yonder that way, not anywhere near the lodge, but we're hiking down to dinner now. It's an arrangement that would make sense if you were trying to prepare guests for a summit attempt at Mount Whitney. For those of us hoping for a restful forest escape, less so. Has anyone ever needed to say, slow down on today's hike, we need to save something to get around the hotel? You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that they should have swapped the building locations with the parking lots. Few designs often fail at step 1, building placement, but this lodge did just that. Now let's step inside the rooms themselves. They're spread across 3 modest buildings. The accommodations are modern enough to offer mini fridges and microwave ovens, appliances no Grand Lodge of yesteryear dared dream about, although they've all been brought up to date by now. There's 3 levels of rooms offered: the standard, deluxe, and superior. The superior being the largest and ideal for the family because it includes a sofa bed and oversized chairs. For a couple, the deluxe rooms are the right size. Here we run into another snag. Only superior rooms offer air conditioning, which means our deluxe room never got below 78 degrees F or 26 degrees C the entire weekend we were there. The window fan just couldn't cool the room down even with both windows open. Not ideal for a good night's sleep, given your first couple of nights at altitude can be challenging. Keep in mind that the much older Ahwahnee and Tovar do manage air conditioning in all rooms. Then there's the bedding, which feels like they're from an economy motel that ran out of budget halfway through. The pillows, overstuffed with so much fiberfill, they could double as props for a step class. To hold that much fiber fill, we're assuming their cases are made of some kind of exotic carbon nanotubes, which if they were to rip would blow your head clean off from the expanding fiber load inside the pillow. We were tempted to open one just to see what would happen, but we neglected to bring an angle grinder. Inside the dining room, you'll get well-made and tasty food for all meals. The portions are large enough that we were able to split the dishes and still feel sated. Unfortunately, you'll find rows of tables lined up to military precision, an acoustical nightmare that transforms every meal into a lively cafeteria experience.
Kind of expected the tables to be full a weekend in the summer.
Intimacy? Only possible if you snag the scarce window seats, whose panes open a stingy couple of inches to coax in some small amount of fresh mountain air. As far as we could tell, this was the only fresh air entering the room, so evening meals were hot, stuffy, and lavish. And if it's just two of you, you're out of luck again, since all the window seats are four-tops, and they're reserved for larger parties during prime dining hours. So, if it's just the two of you, don't expect a comfortable dinner in the dining room. We did find a solution on our third evening. You can order food from the dining room to go from the bar, so you can take it right outside and eat on the scenic pizza deck. That way, you'll have the choice of two menus from either outside pizza and sandwich kiosk or from the inside dining menu. We found this to be a perfect solution to avoiding the dining room, but still getting that great food. This alfresco option may not be viable during those early couple of months of summer, when insects come out of dormancy after a cold winter and are looking at you as a source for meal for themselves. The waitstaff? A fascinating roulette. Some servers radiate seasoned professionalism, while others appear to have learned the menu on their way to the table. It wouldn't be so glaring if the menu were longer than a small pamphlet. This is certainly no Cheesecake Factory menu book. And the bar? Bless the capable bartenders who wield their shakers and strainers like pros. Yet they're let down by an inventory so thin it feels curated by a minimalist monk. Don't expect a craft cocktail here unless you bring your own bitters. Our favorite drink, the Alpine Gimlet, was only recently rediscovered by the facility when a former bartender visited and told the current staff what to do with the 9 cases of the unique gin used in the cocktail. Sadly, we think they'll lose this signature drink once they go through their stash. Kathy and I probably put a sizable dent on their supply. For that, we apologize. So, who exactly is the Wuksachi Lodge for? Younger travelers will recoil at the prices. Older guests who can afford it wince at the climbs, the poorly conceived ventilation system, the college dorm starter bedding, and the cafeteria-style dining room. It's certainly not for couples. It's a total enigma, a premium wilderness lodge that forgets that comfort matters after a day on dusty trails. We really wanted to love this place. Here's some ideas for the Wuksachi so it could rise to the grandeur its surroundings deserve. Install elevators. Gravity isn't going out of style anytime soon, at least in a couple of the buildings. Also, even out the stairs leading up to the rooms from the parking lot, they have an uncomfortable slope after each step. They feel like they'd be dangerous under wet or icy conditions. You can't fix the flawed layout, but you can make it the best it could be. Perhaps the wood siding on the buildings, located in a high fire risk area, are part of a longer-term plan to build a better lodge when the insurance claim comes through. Retrofit the buildings with modern heat pumps, which would be sensitive to the environment and are ideal for adding to existing structures. Like gravity, global warming seems like it's here to stay. Modernize the decor, which feels closer to late 90s chain motel than a timeless mountain retreat. Get advice from a true interior designer. I'm sure they'd be happy to help if you gave them credit. Who wouldn't want a national park lodge on their resume? Improve climate control in the dining room. No guest wants a side of heat stroke with their trout. Also rotate the tables so they don't feel like picnic benches. It'll give a feel of some intimacy. Sound damping on the walls would also be a nice touch. Train the waitstaff until every last server can recite the menu backwards while carrying 3 hot plates. I really never trust anyone carrying hot food and drink to someone who can't memorize 10 things. That's just common safety sense. And stock the bar, seriously. A proper Manhattan shouldn't feel like an unattainable wilderness fantasy. You'll find it's a profitable way to get some of these improvements paid for. Take this as solid advice from an MBA. No charge. Until they fix the dining room, remember our cheat code where you can order the restaurant food to go from the bar and enjoy it on the pizza deck to get out of the sweltering and noisy dining room. In the end, if you want to lay your head somewhere other than a tent inside Sequoia National Park, the Wuksachi remains your only option. Unless you want to drive over to the John Muir Lodge at Grant Grove, which we're hoping doesn't suffer from these same issues. But here's hoping this gem of a location someday earns a lodge experience as magnificent as its surroundings. Until then, pack your hiking shoes, your patience, And definitely your own pillow. Consider acclimatizing to altitude elsewhere before you come here. Maybe the Ahwahnee up the road in Yosemite. You'll be glad you did. If you would like us to do more of these critique videos, please let us know. If you really enjoyed this, please consider sharing it with your friends, or more importantly with the Pulitzer people under the criticism category. Hopefully you find this helpful. We wish we'd known what to expect before we went. If you'd like to see more travel videos, please like and subscribe to our channel. I promise we won't always be complaining. We hope to see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.